Hi, Emily. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So, my name is Cecilia Tierney. I am a graduate student at St. Mary's University, and I just want to do a little diagnostic interview with you here today. So, there's a few things I want to start off with, and then you can ask any questions to me, and then we can kind of get into the the background taking. So, um, I am, like I said, a graduate student. I'm under the supervision of Kara Desai. He's my professor at St. Mary's University. Our video session is being recorded for educational purposes. The only people that will be seeing that video is me and Professor Desai, and he will be getting rid of that video um, when we're done with use of it in our classes. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. Also, I want to let you know that I'm a mandated reporter. So what that means is that everything that you say to me here today is confidential unless I feel that you're in serious danger of hurting yourself or hurting others. So I just wanted to get that out up front here. Um, and I know I sent you some paperwork ahead of time for you to look over. Did you have any questions about that or anything I just kind of covered here in the first few minutes?
No, I've been to therapy before, so I kind of
Okay,
know the drill.
okay, good. All right. Well, with that being said, Um, why don't you just tell me a little bit about why you're here today?
So I'm in grad school, but I'm also, and I love it, but I'm about to start my practicum and I'm nervous about that.
Okay.
And I'm also planning a wedding, and they just cost so much, and there's just like so much to do about it. But that's another stressor. Um, so even though, oh, and I started a new job recently, so I'm still kind of like, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing with it. So I just feel like I'm kind of all in all just in a state of like stress and kind of flux. Like things are changing, and I feel like maybe too much is on my plate.
Yeah, it's a busy season of life
Yeah.
right now. And you're just looking for some support getting through that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, we can definitely talk about some of those things and cover more of those bases, but um, why don't we dive into a little bit about your family, starting at um, do you know if you have any history of mental health in your family?
Yeah. On my dad's side, there is a strong history of depression and substance use, particularly alcohol. Um,
Okay.
but there's been like there I had an uncle that was really addicted to heroin though, so not exclusively
Okay.
alcohol. And then on my mom's side, like a lot of undiagnosed, or maybe I should say late diagnosed, because they're like they all like I think they all finally have diagnoses of this, but like on my mom's side, a lot of anxiety.
Hmm.
And my mom has an eating disorder.
Okay. If you see me jotting things down, it's just I have a notebook here, so
Okay.
yeah, that's all.
um, Gosh, let's
That's
see.
all right. That's a good start. Yeah, I would say so. And you said that you've seen a therapist before. Is there
Mhm.
something you've worked on specifically in therapy?
Yeah, depression mostly.
Okay. So is that the only diagnosis that you know that you've received?
No, I was diagnosed with substance use disorder, but I'm sober. I'm 5 years sober now, so
Oh, awesome.
um, I feel like it doesn't apply. And then, kind of same with anxiety. I was diagnosed with that, back during active addiction, and I would like have panic attacks if I like had a really bad hangover, or like there were some really bad consequences for my drinking or whatever. So I just feel like that diagnosis doesn't really fit with me anymore because I don't really feel that anxious anymore. Like I get stressed out, but I don't get like panicky really or anything like that. But yeah, historically I've been diagnosed with anxiety, but depression for sure. And that's something I just like have to deal with. I just fight it all the time. And I'm in a happier season of life right now, even though it's stressful.
Right.
um, and it's just, yeah, but the depression is just something I feel like I've had to manage like since I was maybe in like middle school.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. When was the earliest that you really remember
Yeah,
what
definitely,
depression is?
definitely middle school. Like
Okay.
I was super angsty.
Okay. What does that mean?
um, well, I, I mean, the big one is that I used to be a cutter. But like lots of my friends did too. It was weird. It was like a coping mechanism and also partly like social. I don't know. It's like really hard to understand cutting. It's especially at that age, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I did that. I like did a lot of reckless behavior, like trying like alcohol and drugs early. Spending a lot of time with boys.
Mm-hmm.
And then um, other than that, just writing like this is a good coping mechanism. But I used to like write songs, and I used to write like a lot of really sad songs.
Kind of that melancholic
Yeah, for sure. Like
depression, just
yeah,
reveling in that.
I was such a depressed like seventh, eighth, ninth grader.
Okay. And where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Twin Cities.
Okay.
I mean, first in Wisconsin, but I moved here when I was um, like 7, and then after that only spent the summers really in Wisconsin. So most of my life, yeah, I've been in the Twin Cities.
Okay. Um, and are your parents? How are your parents? How are your relationships with both of them?
Well, they're not together, and they haven't
Okay.
been since I was. They split up when I was 3, divorced when I was 4.
Okay.
Um, and they used to like. Obviously, this is why they got divorced, but they used to like fight like cats and dogs. But now I think they like really tolerate each other, and I think they even like appreciate each other. Um, Back when I was like in active addiction, they really had to like come together to like save me, so to speak, or I don't know, they maybe shouldn't have, but you know, every parent wants to like help their kid or whatever. So they really like came together a lot there. And then like times when my brothers have had issues, they've like really come together. So they get along well, but in terms of like my relationships with each of them individually, I'm pretty close to my dad and like have been.
Okay.
Um, we just like think pretty similarly, and I don't know, our humor is really similar. Um, and he's like a really what's the word like he's really like in touch with his feelings as a dad. So that was really good. Like raising a daughter, you know, like crying at my like piano recitals and stuff. Like he was always
Um,
just like there for me and
yeah.
like moved. I don't know. It's cute. So he's always been like a rock. Um,
Okay.
and then my mom and I, although we're really close too, like if I was ever in trouble, probably the first person I'd call would be my mom. Because she like knows she's like a boss ass bitch, like knows she like knows what to do about things.
The matriarch.
Yeah, for sure. She's a doctor, and she just like is very like logical. Anyways, but we've historically have fought a lot. Like especially in my like back when I was like really depressed in my like um tween and teen years, like we used to fight a lot. And then we've had some like pretty significant fights in my adulthood too that I haven't had with my dad. So I'd say my mom and I have a more like fraught relationship, but it's still really deep and strong.
Yeah, you have an adult relationship with each parent,
Yeah.
and they have a relationship with each other outside of being apart for so long.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Do you have any siblings?
Yep. I have a twin brother. Um,
Oh, cool.
and his name is Jacob. And I have a younger brother. His name is Alex. And then I have two like ex technically step siblings, but they were my step siblings for 11 years. So I still just call them my step siblings that I'm pretty close to. And their names are Dan and Anna.
Okay.
And then I have from my mom's most recent marriage, I have three new step siblings. um, and from my dad's remarriage, I have one step sibling. Um,
Okay.
and I would tell you their names, but we're not that close, so it's not that important.
Okay. It's worth jotting down. Yeah. As far as growing up, what was your academic history like?
I was pretty good at school. I always loved school. Like even in my diary as a little kid, I was kind of destined, I think, to at least have a first career as being a teacher because I used to like make little like fake worksheets and stuff in my diary. It'd be like Miss Jarecki. um, anyways, yeah. So I kind of just like liked like the rules of school. Like you do your thing, you work hard, you get results, and then you do it again. You know.
The gold star, yeah.
Yeah, I like that for
Feels
sure. So
good.
I was a pretty good student, but like not in everything. Like definitely not math. Sometimes science, yes. Sometimes science, no. Um, and I always had friends, but I wasn't in like I was never in like the popular group.
Okay.
Popular group would like say hi to me, but I was like not in with them. I don't know. Um, I was more so with like the artsy fartsy kids, theater kids, kids.
Yeah, I forget that there's popular groups in like the grade school, high school setting.
Yeah, right.
And then once you're all out in the open, everybody kind of grows out of
Yeah,
it.
right. Thank God.
Who's popular and who's not.
Yeah.
Okay. So for school K through 12th grade, pretty pretty unrocky experience, just
Yeah, like
good school.
academically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did well academically.
Okay. Great. And how about um after high school? What did that look like for you?
I went to college in Washington State in Tacoma.
Mhm.
It's like a long story why I even chose out there, but it was awesome. Met some of my best friends of my whole life out there, and just really grew into myself. Had a lot of also terrible experiences, like everybody has in college, but you
Yeah.
learn and you grow.
Mhm.
um, yeah, so I went to college, um, and I majored in English and minored in religion. And then a year after that, I went into a program that was at that same school for teaching, where for if you were in it for like, or if you did the coursework for 12 months alone, you could get a master's in teaching. So I was like,
Okay.
"Ooh, I'm going to do that." So
Knocked it right out. Yeah.
yeah, I knocked it right out. I was young. I maybe didn't have the maturity for it, but I got the degree. So
Mhm. Okay.
um, yeah.
All
And
right.
then after that, I taught.
Yes, went into teaching.
Mhm.
Gotcha. All right, we'll get to the more maybe current stuff as we go along here, but just as far as covering kind of the history stuff. Um, who are the other important people in your life that I should know about?
My fiance,
Okay.
his name is Dan.
Okay.
We've been together for like a little over 3 years, but we've known each other for like 15 years. So um, he's really important to me, obviously. That's why I'm marrying him. Um, and my best friend, Gabby,
Okay.
she's important to me. And okay, I mentioned family members. Um, my my fiance's son, Ronan, is important to me.
Okay.
Um, and then I have some other friends too. But
Okay. So do you live with Dan and Ronan,
yeah,
being that you're engaged? Okay. What's that like?
good most of the time. I cook dinner every night. Very traditional gender roles over here. Just kidding. Not usually. Actually, in like almost no regard is traditional. Like Dan does all the cleaning, but I love to cook, so I cook every night.
Okay.
And that's also good because when I don't cook, the boys just eat like frozen pizza and taquitos and chicken fingers and stuff like that. So
Right.
getting a vegetable in here and there.
Okay. Yeah,
um,
they talk about girl dinner like it's a phenomenon, but
yeah,
boy dinner
boy dinner is yeah,
has been around much, much longer.
yeah, boy dinner, yeah, and it's like shameful.
No, we love that. We love it.
Yeah, at least girl dinner has like different nutrient categories, you know.
Hmm.
Uh,
Depends who you ask, I guess. But,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, living with them is good. Um, you know, I get to spend a lot more time with Dan than I did before we lived together. But he also makes sure to spend a ton of time with Ronan alone, which, as someone who grew up with step parents here and there, I know is really important. Because when you don't do that, then your kid can feel like neglected or like like you're just leaving them for your partner or whatever. Um, but Dan spends a lot of time with Ronan. So even though we all live together, I spend like plenty of time by myself, and that's good with me because I used to live alone and I was worried about my alone time
That's great.
when I moved. Yeah.
Okay. So in general, happy home life. Sounds
Yeah.
like you have kind of a system worked out with
Yeah.
all
And
your
there's no like real
relationships.
fighting or anything. Like, even like the two times I've heard Dan be angry with Ronan, he doesn't even like really raise his voice. I don't know, it's like a calm home, you know?
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Um, we can move on to some of the more general stuff here. Unless you feel like there's anything I'm missing in kind of like family history, relationship history that you think might be important to our therapy together.
um, you should know that I don't speak to one of my brothers.
Oh, okay.
um,
Which one is that?
my younger brother, Alex,
Okay.
um, he actually, this is awful. And I hate to even like talk about it because it's so like, I can't believe it happened, but like just dumbfounding. But he like put his hands on me and like physically, assault is a strong word, but he like tried to physically intimidate me when he was angry with me, like a year and a half ago.
Hmm.
Never apologized for it or anything, and ever since then I just like went no contact with him because he's done stuff like that in the past too, and it's just like not something I'm willing to tolerate in my adulthood.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been like a big family rift actually, because like my family members still all talk to him obviously and like treat him like normal, but
They
like
do. They do talk to him and treat him like normal.
yeah, and it's like a huge like like stab in the heart to me because like you know
Yeah.
so That kind of sucks. But yeah, I just feel like it's probably something you should know because it definitely like weighs on my mind a lot,
Yeah,
and it comes up like particularly with my mom like kind of often. So
right. What about like family gatherings or events? Do you?
I avoid them unless I know he's not going to be at them, which sucks because I love my family. And so I've had
Right.
to miss out on a lot of like, dinners and like religious holidays and stuff because I'm like afraid my own brother is going to be there. It's like,
Mm,
it sucks.
yeah. And with a big wedding coming up, I'm sure it's
Yeah.
a hotly contested
Right. Like, obviously, he's
item.
not invited, but it's like, do I show pictures of my childhood where he's in the picture? you know?
Right. Or maybe feeling some pressure from family members to, you know, maybe they'll have an opinion about what you do or don't do
Yeah,
too.
I'm sure there'll be opinions. I just hope they don't share them with me.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I don't know, they might. I'm sure it's gonna like, I'm sure my aunts and uncles, they're like big gossips. They're gonna be like, can you believe Alex isn't here? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. It's just like a huge, like, unknown. It sucks.
Okay. Was it like that growing up, like disruption in the house with your
Yeah.
siblings or family members? You said
Uh,
your parents, you'd witnessed some fighting from your parents, is that right?
yeah. My first stepdad was physically and emotionally abusive. And then my second stepdad was like physically intimidating. Like, I don't know, abuse is a strong word. And again, like, he wouldn't like hit us and stuff, but a lot of like slamming the wall near your head when he's yelling at you, or slamming cupboards, or stomping his feet when he walks in the door, like,
Mm,
and like loud yelling.
mm,
So first of all, I think that's where my brother learned that shit from. Um, but yeah, my brother like would have like physical outbursts, particularly towards me,
mm,
because we often didn't get along growing up, like all the time. But it was just always chalked up to like, oh, that's Emily and Alex, they're
mm.
just sibling fighting,
And
like,
this is like when you were kids, teens,
yep,
and adults as well.
yep, literally, like. I remember doing it happening when I was like 13. I remember it happening when I was in grad school the first time. So I was like 22 or 23. He, yeah, he's crazy.
Okay.
So I kind of just think he's like always been a ticking time bomb, but he like found pot in his adolescence and then has like, for the most part, mellowed out because he just like self medicates all the time and is just like stoned all the time.
Mm,
Um, but I think I just, caught him at a time that he wasn't in a stone stupor and he got angry and did what he does. So,
mm.
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, this is so heavy.
No, I was just saying, I was thinking if this is anything crosses a line is too personal and you don't feel like sharing, that's totally fine. But I am here to get the full picture and like I've heard it all. So no, don't feel like, I'm just jotting down things
Okay.
willy-nilly. Like, yeah, it's good to know the full picture. So,
Okay.
okay.
That's really all I want to tell you about it.
Sure. Yeah. Good. Well, we got a good look at your kind of past history, a kind of a look at some past systems or symptoms, or maybe some contributing factors that have kind of built into your life this whole over your lifetime. Um, what about right now? What does your like routine look like? Like your sleep, eat, medication habits, even things like that.
Um, I sleep quite a bit.
Okay.
um, I go to bed at like 10:30 or 11, and then I usually wake up at like 9. So
Okay.
I'm getting a good amount of sleep. Sometimes I wake up earlier, like if I have class, but if I'm allowed to sleep in, yeah, I usually sleep like 10 hours.
Okay. And you don't take anything for sleep, you just a
I do
natural.
actually take trazodone for sleep,
Okay.
but just half a pill. So I don't know. Maybe someday I can be off of it, but I've been on it since college, so I don't know.
Okay. Since college. If it works, it works as long as it's not
Hmm.
interfering with anything else, you know?
Yeah.
How about your eating habits? What's your relationship with food been like
Oh,
historically
food
and
is a
today?
problem. I binge eat at night. I don't get hungry until like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and then I usually have a protein shake then, and then that usually tides me over until like 5, and then I have dinner at like 5 or 5:30, and then I'm good till like I would say like 7:30 or 8, and then I just start like inhaling food. And this has been like something that I've done since I was a kid. Like my dad does this too, and I like it was almost like a bonding thing, like, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we all go downstairs and we just eat a bunch of junk food in front of the TV. We like eat ice cream out of the container in front of the TV, and we all like watch a movie and laugh and whatever. Um yeah, so anyways, so I would say like around, yeah, like 8, I'm like a gremlin and I eat a bunch of sweet things particularly. Um it used to be salty things, but ever since getting sober, it's like my body missed that sugar or whatever.
Right.
So,
Yeah. That's what I was about to ask because it's not just that you're hungry and you want to eat, like, there's some reason why your body is craving that or
yeah.
wanting that. So I was wondering if there's any, you said it was kind of like a transitional replacement when you stopped drinking,
Yeah.
but I wonder if we could explore, like, if it's in relation to any medications or any other lifestyle things, why your body just like activates
Yeah.
so hard around that time.
That would be great. I would love to unlock the mystery there.
I mean, yeah, where there's mysteries, there's therapists
Yeah.
who want to pull at the strings. So, yeah, okay.
But I mean, on the flip side, I will say, like, I've been much skinnier than this, and I've been this weight, and like every weight in between. And I never really had, excuse me, a problem with like restriction.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's the good side of binge eating. But,
Mm-hmm.
like I've definitely had like low self esteem about how I looked, but never to the point where I like really like I like restricted food a bunch or whatever. I just like maybe for like a day, and then I would fall out of it because I'm
Okay.
just not built that way.
Right. You say that you've kind of fluctuated weight
Hmm.
all of your life. Has there been any like significant life events tied to that, or do you feel it's just kind of a natural process based on life?
Definitely when I get like really depressed,
Okay.
um, because I mean, I'm not like the most mobile person as is, or I mean, I guess I should say like active. I'm like, I take walks, but that's it. I don't like get my heart rate pumping very much. I just like hate exercise. Um, but when I'm depressed, my lifestyle gets even more sedentary.
Mm-hmm.
And like lots of times, one of the only things that'll make me feel like any sort of pleasure because everything else is sad and shitty is like ice cream or like some other like sweet treat like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I've noticed that when I've gone through like I think I have I used to believe this was not real, but then I realized I have it, so I think it is real. Uh, seasonal affective disorder. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like I thought it was real, right? But
Right.
back when I was in like high school, I'm like, oh, you get sad in the winter, okay? I was so
Mm.
judgy about it. But I definitely like my depression like really I've noticed like significant dips in the winter. Like that's when I
Okay.
quit teaching, was in a big like depression dip.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I definitely gain weight then. Um, and then I lose weight like only unintentionally when I'm really stressed out.
Okay.
Like,
You just have a loss of appetite.
yeah, yeah, or like the kind where there's like no time to eat.
Okay.
But yeah, loss of appetite for sure too. Like I worked at a particularly stressful job a few years ago, and it was just so chaotic, and there was just so little support there that I lost like I want to say like 40 pounds in like 4 months. Like it was just like boom, boom without trying, like not,
Yeah.
same with
Wow.
like really bad breakups I've had. I've like, which is funny because I would get like depressed too, but I've also had bad breakups where I got like really anxious after, and I've gotten like really skinny then. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Really skinny for me, not really skinny like for maybe life standards.
Yeah. No, it's just funny how our body can sometimes be more in tune with like our stress levels and how kind of our metabolisms connect to our cortisol and our
Yeah,
hormones and all different things like um yeah, it just seems like maybe for you especially like that's something to what you can watch out for or kind of look
yeah,
into more is like it seems like maybe you're really sensitive to some of those things.
yeah. I think
Maybe.
so because like my weight has fluctuated so much, and I'm almost never trying. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The fact that it just happens kind of naturally, maybe there's some kind of sensitivity there.
Mhm.
Your body knows you. Your body.
The body keeps the score.
Yeah, exactly. I almost said it, and then I was like, no, I
I knew.
shouldn't. um, yeah. So you were kind of just talking about here your depression. Maybe you can kind of um, fill me in a little bit more on kind of what do you notice when you are depressed or you feel the depression? Like you said, it's kind of a seasonal thing. Like you definitely notice it's sinking in winter. You
Mhm.
feel a little bit more immobile, wanting to kind of stay put.
Yeah.
And then the fluctuations in weight gain.
Mhm.
And you mentioned kind of the eating habits that surround that. Is there anything else that really just stands out to you as you know as your depression?
Um, yeah, like the thoughts, like
Mm-hmm.
not like voices, but like almost like that are just so critical and like hopeless,
Mm-hmm.
like very doom and gloom and self and like self-critical.
Yeah.
You're a piece of shit. Everybody hates you. You shouldn't even try. Like that kind of stuff where it's like that kind of messaging in my head, like without wanting it there, like all the time.
Right. Like it's like a separate voice. It's
Yeah.
an intrusive voice that's not
Yeah.
it's happening to you
Yeah.
rather than you actively thinking those type of things.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know. I just like to know these things up front as a therapist just so we can kind of so go back and check in if we are ever noticing those things or noticing new things. We can kind of tie them in and add them to the list too. Like mental health and mental illness looks different in different phases of our lives. So
Yeah.
yeah. Are you on any medications currently?
I am. I'm on a lot, mostly because of the big depressive episode I had when I quit teaching, and I'm like kind of still on them all from that.
Okay. And when was that?
Um, that was winter of 2022 to spring of 2023.
Okay. 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 And you said you got on meds. Did you were you seeing a therapist or a psychologist at the time?
I was seeing a psychiatrist and a psychologist. Um,
Okay.
and I mean, I've been on some form of med since college,
Okay.
um, but like switched to different ones. Like first it was Zoloft, and then it was fluoxetine, and then it was I don't remember. But only when I got only in the most recent depressive episode did I get put on like all these other ones.
Okay.
Um, I mean, and I'm feeling fine depression wise, so they're working. I don't think I like need them all anymore, but I also am afraid to mess with it.
Okay. Do you experience any adverse symptoms now? After the kind of phasing in period.
I think weight gain is a symptom of some of them, so there's
Okay.
that. Um, but otherwise, I don't think so.
But you think they're working
Hmm.
for you well at the moment you aren't interested in.
Yeah, not quite yet. I think especially not right before practicum, I don't want to like mess with my head and then start hearing about other people's, you know, heartbreaks and woes and stuff, and
Right.
then be in like a weak place to, you know.
No, no, that makes perfect sense. I only ask because, um, yeah, if things do change and you want to change things up, like I'm the person taking care of like your brain health and your mental health. So it's good to know that if we're gonna
Yeah.
make physical changes as well. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other like medical issues, past or current, that stand out?
I have MS.
Okay.
Other than that, no.
Okay. And what does that mean for you?
I'm fatigued a lot. That's my big symptom.
Okay.
Um, I just like I'm glad we're doing this in or at least we started it like in the afternoon,
Okay.
because just like as time goes on in the evening, I just get like more and more brain fried. And I mean, everybody does to a degree, but I hate when
Hmm.
people are like, "Oh, I get that too," and it's like you don't get it.
Yeah.
It's like my brain is like misfiring all the time. My brain is sending signals that are getting lost, and then I don't get. I have like neural activity that gets lost all the time. It's different. And I don't mean
Hmm.
to be like I'm different and special, but
No, I mean I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know much about it, so it'd be good to hear more from you. It's like a fogginess
yeah,
and like
yeah,
body tiredness, or both, or
it can be both for sure.
okay.
It's like definitely cognitively, like I'll lose my train of thought or not be able to think of the word I'm trying to think of. Um, I'll like hear someone say something and just like have no idea what they just said. Um, like that'll happen a lot. Like in class, I'll have to like go like take a walk and like
Mm.
splash some water or drink some water or whatever. Because yeah, yeah. So just like forgetting, or yeah, just not like making sense really of what people are saying. That'll happen. And then just physically wise, like I have certain spots in my body that get tingly. And
Mm.
like always have ever since my first MS attack. And that's like when I got diagnosed with it. Um, and
And
then
when was
always
that?
like, hmm?
When was that you were
Oh,
diagnosed?
May of 2017.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, you were saying
Oh,
what
so
was
just
that?
like in like the tips of my fingers, they get tingly, and like my mouth, particularly my lips. Yeah, and I'll just like walk a little bit slower. Like when I go on a walk with Dan at night, it's like usually really like geriatric pace.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Okay, that covers that. Um, yeah. Outside of your daily routine, what are some, outside of work and school and your relationship, um, do you have hobbies, things you like to do, other things that are important to you that you'd like me to know about?
Um, I I like to cook and bake. I like
Okay.
to play piano and sing. Um, that's probably like singing is like number one for me, like one of my like favorite hobbies. Um,
Okay.
and I mean, I do it every day, like along to the radio in the car or in the shower or whatever. Or, but sometimes more seriously, like at the piano and like do a song or whatever. And I have family members that also play, and Dan plays, so sometimes we jam together. Um, what else? Reading. I don't do as much reading for joy now that I'm in grad school, but
Right. That's how it goes.
yeah. But
Okay.
yeah.
Um, do you know if you had any significant injuries as a child, or if you hit all of your developmental milestones?
I I was born really premature, but
Okay.
after like I don't remember how long, but not long, like a year or two, we were like on the same trajectory as all the other kids. So
Okay. Gotcha.
and I like broke my arm when I was 7, but other than that, no significant injuries.
Okay. All right. Um, and there's kind of a big one to get into, but do you associate with any sort of religious practice or bigger community like that?
Yeah, I'm Jewish.
Okay.
I grew up Reform Jewish, so we didn't like keep kosher or like go to synagogue all the time, but we did go to Hebrew school, religious school, had our bar and bat mitzvahs, went to Israel during high school for like study abroad program stuff, went to Jewish summer camp. So pretty Jewy experience.
Okay.
and and I definitely identify with it now, but I'm not I don't belong to a particular synagogue right now.
Okay. Identify but don't practice
Yeah.
necessarily traditionally. Okay. All right. Well, I just have a few minutes left here, so maybe we can just talk about maybe what you're looking for in therapy, if there's anything specific you want to cover, or just anything else that you want me to know that we haven't covered yet.
Um I I definitely want to like examine, like we talked about, my relationship with food and eating,
Mm-hmm.
and how it like how I kind of like cross addicted from alcohol to that.
Mm-hmm.
um, and yeah, just to like own it and just like start dealing with it, because I think I've just been like one thing at a time in my mind for so long. But I'm 5 years sober now, so I feel like it's totally doable for me to be tackling this now. Um, and then other than that, just like making sure I don't like spin out or self sabotage with all my like things coming up, like practicum and wedding planning and my new job.
Yeah, lots of things tend to come up during stressful times,
Yeah.
and being that some of it's big family events too, that's
Yeah.
good to have somebody on the phone if needed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just stress in general. Okay, well, I think we covered anything. If I am missing anything, hopefully we can work on it and on future appointments. So, um, yeah, I can get this covered and get back to you and see when we can schedule another session if you're interested.
Okay, awesome. That sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you for meeting with me today.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks, Cecilia.
All right. Bye.
Bye.